What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Jake Shavink here, and the Packers finally made their second draft choice at offensive line, trading up in the 5th round to select Duke offensive lineman Jacob Monk. Jacob Monk, 6'3" and 308 pounds, 32 and 3/8 inch arm length, had a 9.36 RAS at guard and a 9.74 RAS at center. We'll talk about why we mentioned both of those, but 58 total starts and has over 500 snaps at center, but 2,361 snaps at right guard. He has played some right tackle and left guard as well. I think it shows off that versatility that the Packers are coveting along the offensive line, and just 33 pressures and a sack allowed in the last 2 seasons on 657 opportunities. So let's take a look at the film at right guard and center. We pieced together where Monk fits best with the Green Bay Packers. So off to the film room, take a look at Jacob Monk. All right, guys, so we go into the film room taking a look at Jacob Monk. First up at right guard, I think you see enough athleticism, and I think that's where, the athletic testing, it shows up here on film. We'll start with this quick pull and strike to the outside here. Really good quicks, gets to the landmark easily, right? Like that type of athleticism is going to play in the Packers offense. I think you see here more initial quicks in the run game, and the ability to generate a good seal on this for this run to the outside. So he gets good positioning with those initial quicks, and that's something that has really shown through on Monk's film. Here, show off the mean streak a little bit, put a guy on the ground in the run game, right? And I think as a puller, you saw it in the first clip, but even here as he's pulling, he's looking for a second level landmark. He can get there, and he can get the right leverage on that block. So second level work, I think, won't be a problem for him at the next level. And I think you see this rep really good job where it's, again, get a good base. The initial quicks, again, driving this rep to be a good one. Gets good positioning, and then the ability to unlock that level of power there to basically just take this defensive lineman out of the play. So there's a lot to like in the run game. As a pass protector, I think there's stuff that he shows that he does well, right? Stunt stuff here, right? Recover, get to this defender, right? That's looping around. Same thing on this one, where it's more about him receiving the stunt than passing it off, right? Have to receive, get good positioning, make sure the pocket stays relatively clean, and he does a good job there, again, unlocking that mean streak to him at the end of reps. And I think there are times in pass protection where he does a good job with striking, making that first initial strike be effective. Obviously, he's got help here from his teammate at right tackle, but this is good positioning. This is the type of positioning you want to see consistently from him in terms of that initial strike. This is good. Quick set, get into position where you're striking as this defender's, taking steps, getting off the ground to the point where you've generated good extension, right? We're in good position here to where this play's locked up, right? Pass protection. It's perfect. There's no notes there. When you get to a quick landmark like that in pass pro, it's easy. Now, you see him strike second here on this rep, but what he does do is fight for good positioning, right? Good extension there, and he can hang on throughout that rep. Same thing here. Again, quick feet, right? Mirror off of the line a little bit. A good strike in there, maybe a little bit high, might be looking at potential penalties if you get any closer to that face mask. But when he shoots the hands and gets a good strike early, he can handle most reps in pass protection. It's very clear. Now, again, he's striking second. The hands are low, but what he does a good job of here is the recovery, right? Get into a good position, right? Anchor there, and then drive the player out of the rep where, again, if the pocket is cleaner, this rep looks really good because quarterback's allowed to kind of freely move in the pocket, step up where he needs to. It just so happens that he gets flushed out on this play. Again, a good rep where this is recovery footwork, right? You get into a position where outside hand doesn't really work. Defender might have a path around, but again, shuffle with him, continue to fight for good positioning, and he does so there, and obviously had help to the outside, so good awareness in that regard. Again, guys trying to throw a little jab step in here against Monk. And he does kind of get to a point where he almost had a chance to kind of threaten around the arc here. But good recovery, stays in good position for Monk there in pass protection. There are certainly, times where he gets a good anchor like this. And again, it's not the best strike here, But when you get into a good position with a balanced look against contact, once you're arriving at confrontation, I think Monk does a really nice job of staying to the point where he's not losing late in the rep to a counter. Again, another job where he's a little out of position balance-wise, but the anchor's good enough to keep the interior of the pocket really clean. Now, there are certainly areas that need improvement, and we've kind of mentioned this already, where it's hand usage, right? It's why are we down here with the outside hand? He's wrapping. He's wrapping up, and he's allowing the defender to get better position, and this is what happens. When the defender plays low like this and generates, enough power and explosion off the snap, now we're in a bad position, right? Monk's in a position where it's going to be really, really difficult to recover like that. It's the same here, right? It's defender's getting the initial strike, and he's wrapping up. He's bear hugging. That just is not going to work at the next level. You have to get better with hand usage. And this is the other part of why hand usage is so important, why the placement, why a good strike is important early in the rep, because now defender can push pull, right? He can, basically just chop the hands out of the way. He gets into a good position where this defender can now just threaten around the arc because Monk just did not get a good strike on him at all. And the same goes here, right? This is, a point where you have hands wide, right? You can see both of them, and the defender's in tight. And what happens is you're trying to hang on, you get into a bad position because of it, and now you're losing to the inside. And the quarterback, has to throw the ball away, and it's a lost rep. Again, where he kind of gets into a point where he falls victim to the jab step and kind of drops his weight to look for a power move here, and the defender does a nice job with the club arm over. Now, Monk does a decent job just crossing over and just trying to use that inside hand to just push him too far up the arc, which he does a decent job of, but you don't want to get stuck against those jab moves, because when those jab steps come into play and you're setting too early, you see that the ability for the defender to just cross your face and win around the arc. So that's something that has to definitely be cleaned up as well. And I do think there are times where he's opening too early here, right? You can kind of see it to the point where just keep setting out wide. Just shuffle the feet, get to the point where you're in a good position at contact rather than opening up like this. And right, you can see him winding the hands up as well. You don't want to be open this early in a rep. This offers defenders a lot of options if they know you're going to open up with that first or second step threatening that outside arc on him. That's where it has to be cleaned up, because if you're opening early like that, you're susceptible to inside moves, right? You're going to be in some bad positions. Now, at center, I think the tape looks a lot cleaner, right? You see the initial quicks. Look at him fire off the ball, even off the snap, which is a quality snap as well. Get to a good position, strike well in the run game, and sustain a block long enough where, if the run's coming his direction, that he's going to spring a bigger run. Same thing here. Quick, strike with the hands, drive him out of the play. Really simple and really effective. Little combo block on Braden Fisk here, right, was an earlier pick in the draft, where now it's just kind of his responsibility at some point in this rep to basically just take Fisk out of the play, drive him to the turf, does a really nice job there sustaining that block. Now in pass protection, there's plenty to like as well, because when you're center, you're not on an island as much. But even when he is, again, initial quicks, right, fire off the ball, get into a really good position, strike with the hands lower, get good extension, good positioning, and basically just eliminate any threat of a rush on the interior. Really good awareness here. Strikes with that left hand quickly, help out the left guard, then also help out the right guard who gets beat inside. Clean strike, good positioning, good balance, good anchor. Textbook rep from him at center. Again, how do you handle that initial, momentum, that initial strike from a defender? Now, obviously, he would have liked to have better positioning here, but he does a good enough job where he's able to, in that strike, reset himself well enough to keep the pocket clean. Once again, similar thing where, survive that initial rush, anchor, and you're going to get help from either the left or right guard, and it's a really nice, clean rep. Again, positioning, balance, bend the knees, and good extension at the point of attack. Now, Jacob Monk, I think when you look at the film at right guard versus center, he looks like a better center. And this could be the long play upside swing for the Packers, where Monk hasn't played as much at center as he has at right guard, but they see something in Monk where, okay, he makes this transition to center. We might have either a quality backup at center or potentially the long-term starter if Josh Myers walks in free agency next offseason. So Monk potentially offers that versatility. There are things to clean up with the hand usage, right? But there is a pretty solid foundation to build off of for a 5th-round pick. So hope you guys enjoyed this video on Jacob Monk. If you did, throw a like down there. Subscribe if you're new. Plenty more content. Wrapping up the draft stuff this week and maybe a little bit next week. But I will catch you guys in the next video. Farewell.